You did it. $100,000 a year. The magic number your younger self thought meant financial peace forever. You pictured comfort, investing, maybe even ordering guacamole without checking your account like a medieval peasant counting beans. But then a $500 car repair appears, and suddenly your six-figure salary starts sweating through its blazer. On paper, you look successful. In real life, your checking account behaves like it is training for a survival documentary. Welcome to the modern middle-class squeeze where your income rises, but rent, groceries, utilities, and insurance run faster. The old meaning of six figures was built in another economy, before housing costs started bench-pressing everyone's paycheck. And here is the first trick. The salary you brag about is gross income. The salary you live on is net income. Before you touch a dollar, taxes, payroll deductions, healthcare, and retirement contributions start lining up like tiny financial mosquitoes. The cultural benchmark stayed frozen, but purchasing power did not. A 1990s dream salary now fights a 2020s cost monster. That is why the math can look fine from far away, yet feel terrifying when one unexpected bill enters the chat. So today, we are not here to shame you. We are here to dissect the machine eating your paycheck. Layer 1, structural deductions. Layer 2, inflation. Layer 3, spending behavior. Layer 4, debt. Layer 5, survival mode. The villains are not just prices, they are lifestyle creep, compound interest, social comparison, and a budget built on fantasy math. But the ending is not hopeless. A six-figure salary can still build wealth, if you stop letting it drive itself. First, we follow the money before it reaches you, because your $100,000 salary never arrives as $100,000. Let us start with the first betrayal. $100,000 is not the money you live on. It is the headline number, gross income is the fantasy poster, net income is the actual movie, and spoiler alert, the budget got cut. Before your paycheck reaches you, federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare form a very organized snack line. That impressive $100,000 can quickly feel closer to something like $70,000 before regular life even starts. Taxes do not take one dramatic bite. They work in layers, like a salary lasagna nobody asked to eat. Then payroll taxes arrive. Social Security and Medicare, small percentages that quietly show up on every paycheck. And depending on where you live, state income tax may join the party wearing a very expensive hat. Then healthcare premiums appear, often hundreds per month, just for the privilege of not financially exploding when you get sick. Maybe you contribute 5% to a 401k, which is smart, but it still reduces the cash hitting your checking account today. Monthly, that $8,300 salary may land closer to $5,000 something after deductions. Still good, just not magic. The problem is that most people plan their lifestyle around the big number, then pay bills with the smaller number. Rent does not care about your gross pay. Groceries do not salute your LinkedIn salary announcement. They attack take-home cash. That mismatch creates an invisible deficit. Your expectations are financed by gross income, while reality is funded by net income. The fix starts here. Stop worshiping the salary headline. Build your budget around what actually lands in the account. Because once the smaller paycheck finally arrives, it runs straight into the second monster, inflation and lifestyle creep. Now your smaller take-home paycheck finally lands and immediately walks into the macroeconomic elephant wearing a rent receipt. Inflation is not one dramatic explosion. It is groceries, utilities, insurance, gas, and subscriptions quietly leveling up like video game bosses. You buy the same basket as before, but somehow the receipt now looks like it studied finance and chose violence, cartoon violence. Housing is the heavyweight. Rent eats monthly cash flow, and home prices make starter homes look like luxury boss levels. Then lifestyle creep enters politely. You do not say, "I am overspending." You say, "I deserve a better apartment." Your peers post rooftop dinners, nicer cars, and weekend trips. Suddenly, your old normal starts looking suspiciously unacceptable. Streaming, delivery apps, premium software, gym memberships, cloud storage, each one is small until the swarm gets hungry. Then the newer vehicle appears, because your income went up and your old car suddenly feels personally disrespectful. Here is the trap. Inflation raises the floor of survival, while lifestyle creep raises the ceiling of what you think is normal. One upgrade is manageable. 5 upgrades become a new baseline. 10 upgrades quietly erase your savings category. The dangerous part is that lifestyle creep rarely feels reckless. It feels reasonable, professional, and just a tiny bit upgraded. So you run harder, earn more, and still stay in place because the treadmill speed keeps increasing under your feet. You are not only buying goods, you are buying the feeling that your life finally matches your salary. The defense is simple but uncomfortable. Define normal before your income does, or every raise will be eaten alive. Because when inflation and lifestyle creep outrun your take-home pay, the bridge you reach for is usually debt. When your lifestyle outruns your take-home pay, the easiest bridge is debt. Convenient, shiny, and absolutely not your friend. It starts small. Dinner here, a weekend trip there, one little balance you promise to pay off next month. But credit card interest is not small. Around 20% or more means time itself starts billing you. The minimum payment feels responsible, like putting a tiny bandage on a leaking submarine. Compounding works beautifully when you invest. When you owe, it becomes a machine that makes yesterday's purchase more expensive tomorrow. Then life throws in a medical bill, a car repair, or a surprise move. The balance rolls over, and the trap closes softly. This is revolving debt. You pay, borrow, and somehow exit through the same door you entered. The scariest part is that debt spends your future paycheck before your future self even gets to say hello. Auto loans join the party too. The car may look upgraded, but the payment parks itself in your budget every month. And many professionals carry student loans because the degree needed for the good job often arrived with a very expensive backpack. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, installment plans, each one becomes a little wall between salary and freedom. The fix is not to panic. First, separate annoying debt from dangerous debt. High-interest debt gets priority. Use a plan. Avalanche for highest interest first, or snowball for momentum. The key is making the debt stop multiplying. Every balance you eliminate gives future you more oxygen. Debt payoff is not punishment. It is buying back options. But why do smart high earners keep walking into the trap? Next, meet the most expensive tax of all, comparison. Debt is not just math. It often begins with a feeling. Everyone else seems to be doing better than you. You see rooftop dinners, international vacations, luxury cars, perfect lighting, and people somehow always holding tiny expensive coffees. What you do not see is the payment plan, the credit balance, the family help, or the panic behind the crop. Still, your brain compares the highlight reel to your normal Tuesday night laundry pile. Very fair system, obviously. Then comes the dangerous thought. I make 6 figures now, so my life should look like 6 figures. So success becomes a costume. Better apartment, newer car, cleaner shoes, nicer watch, and a restaurant with aggressive candles. Visible consumption gets applause. Invisible wealth gets silence. Nobody posts a screenshot of their emergency fund and gets invited to brunch. The problem is that visible success is expensive, and the credit system is always happy to finance your performance. Marketing knows this. It does not sell products first. It sells identity, belonging, confidence, and the illusion of finally arriving. It whispers, one upgrade away, one trip away, one purchase away from becoming the version of yourself you already pretend to be. Meanwhile, the boring stuff, savings, investments, debt payoff, gets pushed to next month, which is where financial plans go to nap forever. The antidote is a values audit. Is this a real need, a real joy, or just status rent paid to strangers? Sometimes the best financial move is not a spreadsheet. It is muting people who make debt look like a personality trait. Real wealth is not proving you are successful. Real wealth is quietly owning options while nobody notices. Because if the image looks rich, but the safety net is empty, you are not wealthy. You are cash poor in costume. This is the strange part. You can look successful from the outside and still be financially fragile underneath. Nice apartment, decent job title, solid salary, but one unexpected bill still makes the room feel smaller. A car repair, medical copay, rent increase, or appliance failure can turn a normal week into a financial weather emergency. The missing ingredient is liquidity. Money you can actually access before life starts throwing furniture. Without liquidity, every paycheck becomes a bridge you must cross perfectly. With rent and debt waiting on the other side, when debt payments are fixed, flexibility disappears. Your future income already has assigned seating. The image says successful. The bank account says, please do not test me before Friday. Now imagine a layoff, not a disaster movie, just one email subject line with terrifying corporate politeness. With no safety net, one problem becomes three: missed savings, credit card bounce, and emotional panic doing backflips. An emergency fund is not boring. It is a shock absorber between your life and the economy's terrible driving skills. Real wealth is options. The ability to say no, pause, move, negotiate, recover, and sleep normally. Without options, even a good salary feels like a treadmill with a nicer view and worse sleep. Cash poor means income is high, but accessible reserves are low. The engine is strong, but the fuel tank is blinking. The shift is simple. Stop measuring wealth by what impresses strangers, and start measuring it by what protects you. So how do you escape the cash poor trap? Next comes the blueprint: mechanics, mindset, and taking the wheel. Here is the good news. You do not fix this with shame. You fix it with mechanics, mindset, and a steering wheel. Step 1. Stop worshiping the gross salary. Your budget should obey take-home pay, not the fantasy number on LinkedIn. Step 2. Audit recurring expenses. Rent, car payments, subscriptions, delivery apps, insurance. Every monthly vampire must show identification. Housing is usually the biggest lever. A slightly cheaper home can do more than deleting 12 streaming apps and crying. Transportation is the second lever. If the car payment is flexing harder than your savings, the car is not helping. Step 3. Build liquidity. An emergency fund turns surprise bills from emotional earthquakes into annoying paperwork. The emergency fund is your shock absorber. Life still hits bumps, but your whole budget stops flying through the windshield. Step 4. Attack high-interest debt. Credit card balances are not pets. Stop feeding them minimum payments forever. Pick a method. Avalanche saves interest. Snowball builds momentum. The winner is whichever plan you actually follow. Step 5. Pay yourself first. Automate saving and investing before lifestyle spending gets first dibs on the paycheck. Investing is where compound interest finally switches teams. The same math that punished debt can help build future freedom. When raises arrive, give future you a raise too. Increase savings before lifestyle creep arrives, wearing sunglasses. This is the real upgrade. Not looking richer, but feeling less trapped every month. Wealth is options, security, time, and peace of mind. The flex is sleeping normally after opening your banking app. $100,000 or salary is still a powerful engine. But wealth begins when you finally take control of the steering wheel